Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Sammy United People's TV. It was another busy show. Am I going to be saying that every single weekday this summer? I don't really know. But it's been an incredibly fast start from United. We've got the Cunha deal over the line. A couple of days ago, we had the Mbeumo announcement. Ornstein confirming that Mbeumo wants to join United. Last night, we've got Ornstein confirming the first offer's gone in. 45 million plus 10 mil in add-ons. I'm going to run through all the details about the offer. We can have a conversation around how much we think he's going to go for, what we think he's worth. Oh, look, by the way, found the old YouTube plaque. It's up in the studio. Come on, we're getting there. I'll also run through some quite important announcements, really. Number one, about some changes behind the scenes about Brailsford, about Jason Wilcox, but also, and I'm going to do 2 videos today. It's going to be a busy one in the United People's TV towers. The video is going to go out later on today is about PSR and about how effectively, up until this point, every single journalist has kind of got it wrong about calculating PSR. And it's why I've always tried to sort of step back from it, because it's been impossible to say exactly how much United can spend. I'll try my best to run through that and give you a bit of information. Let's see who's here from the mod and the member gang. Let's get on with the show. Good morning to you, Carl. Good morning to you, Josh. I can see you there. We've got Vince, we've got A3D, and you're gifting 10. You and Aaron. Greatest tag team ever? Who is the greatest tag team ever? Hardy Boys or Dudley Boys? Man, I used to love the Dudley Boys. Anyone else used to love wrestling? I used to love wrestling as a kid. We grew up in the halcyon days of wrestling. Anyway, who else is here? We've got Nick, some non-members. We've got Nick, we've got Numero Uno, Carl, good morning to you. Chomba. We've got Sharks. Lots of new faces. Let's crack on with the show. You know the drill. Please get involved in the comments. Fire in the chat. And I will try and involve as many of you as I possibly can. Mbeumo. Did I say Mbeumo? Mbeumo. I'm trying to remember his name. All right. Anybody else watch this game last night? Farouk and Bradshaw. APA. Yeah, it's a good one. That's a good one. Anyway, Dave, if you're watching. My mate Dave. Massive wrestling fan. Anyway, let's speak about football, right? Speak about United. Last night, Portugal playing Germany in the Nations League. They went through 2-1 into the finals, and Wirtz was there chasing Bruno's tail. The second half performance from Bruno was just, yeah, him. He's the United captain. I really hope that we've got a properly functional team, because I know there are weaknesses to Bruno Fernandes's sort of, I'll call it like positional discipline. He's just a bit excited, too excited sometimes. Sometimes it's best not to run around. But Bruno, Wirtz was running around trying to chase him last night, and he could not find him. Portugal, yeah, they did. I agree, Russell. They turned it on in the second half. Vitinha looks an absolute baller. But I'm going to be interested to see this in the game at Anfield this season. Man. What was the last year we won there in the Premier League? It was only last year was the first year that we scored there in like 5 odd years. Sod knows. Who cares? Let's not talk about the Premier League, man. Sod that. I said it's 40 odd days until we have to watch United again. But anyway, Wirtz had a really nice time chasing Bruno's shadow in that second half, didn't he? There was this fan there, a little banner for Bruno. Look, I think I said it and I saw it yesterday that any United fan trying to act like it's a truly awful situation that Bruno's saying, like, oh my God, the summer's ruined, I think is just so utterly performative. You can have your disagreements about Bruno, but look, I love Bruno. Glad he's staying. Let's move on. Let's speak about new players that are coming in. It can't have been Wanfield the last time we won their league, was it? I don't know. Maybe. Mr. Smith saying Wirtz will struggle with physicality in the first year or two. Hey, look, dude. Wirtz is clearly a hell of a player. I tell you what, though, was it 130 million euros? Is that what Liverpool are going to pay? I better hope that works out. I mean, he probably will. He is a good player. Anyway, speaking of good players, segue. Let's speak about Mbeumo. Let's speak about what happened last night. I was sitting there in bed having a little scroll, and I was like, nah, ain't no way I'm going live then. I'll have a conversation in the morning about Mbeumo. And this was the news last night from David Ornstein. Manchester United have submitted the opening offer to sign Bryan Mbeumo from Brentford, £45 million plus 10 million in add-ons. And he's saying it's some way below the level of fee needed for Brentford to consider the sale. He wants to join United. We know that. United gained power in the negotiation as soon as that bomber came out from Ornstein a few days ago. The fact that Mbeumo wants to join United. He's chosen to join United. He's looked at Arsenal, Spurs and Newcastle and gone, nah, sod that. I want to join United. But that bid's obviously been rejected. Let's run through a little bit more detail here. Actually, no, let's do a poll here first, right? Let's do a poll here first. How much do you think United will sign Mbeumo for? Let's see what... So 45 plus 10 has been rejected. So that's 55 mil overall. It's kind of hard to do a poll on this because I think it's going to be... Nah, I don't really think we can do a poll on this, if I'm being totally honest. It's just more about how do you think the deal will be structured? I think it's quite obvious what will happen here, right? Let's run through this before I explain what I mean. David Ornstein saying United have submitted the opening offer. The proposal values Mbeumo at 45 plus 10, which is some way below what they want. Talks are ongoing as United work to reach an agreement. What would you say that agreement's going to be? The same price as Cunha, I think, is it's an optimistic hope. Is it optimistic? I suppose it's the yardstick that they can compare it to right now. But if it's 55 overall right now, I think you're probably going to go towards 60. You know what I really like about this? And this is going to be my lunchtime video. We'll do an evening video on the finances and PSR because it's a bit complicated. It's more of an explainer video to try and help you understand it because it's so complicated. But United, the thing I like about that bid there is United haven't pussyfooted around and gone in with like a, I don't know, like 40 mil, straight up 40 mil bid. Like there's no point. United would have done this before. United would have tried, they would have gone in with a low ball offer, seen it was rejected, and then wait like another 2 weeks before putting in another offer. That right there, that feels like a very fair opening offer. I don't particularly think that this is going to be a long negotiation. Let me see what you're saying down here. 55 plus 5, Yusuf and Crizzy, you're saying that. Duke, you think the exact same price as Cunha. 55 plus 10, says Cormac. 55 plus 10, says Josh as well. And Daz. I think you probably find them agreeing about 50 mil plus 10. 50 mil guaranteed. And I would make the 10 mil add-ons kind of harder to achieve. Like if United, I don't know. If United, what? Sod knows how they do add-ons these days. I've got absolutely no idea. But I think 60 mil will be around about what we do. Quite a few down there are saying 55 plus 10. What? Paying more for Mbeumo than we did for Cunha. I don't think there's any chance of that. I think the maximum it goes to is going to be 62.5, which is what we pay for Cunha. Yeah, of course, and this isn't to say that all of a sudden this amount of money leaves United's accounts, and it's something to always remember. It's all going to be amortised across the length of the contract. It's just how, I imagine it's probably how transfers always went. Although maybe back in the day, because the transfers weren't as mega, there was probably more upfront payments. Don't know. Josh, you're asking about the XP on this. I don't actually know. Like, it looks like it goes past 100. No, you've got Cormac sitting there on 125. I still don't quite know how this community leaderboard works. I see how it works, but for me, gifted memberships, anybody who gifts memberships should be getting points for that. And I don't think it includes it. So I'm going to try and reach out to someone at YouTube and say, look, lads, if you're going to do this community feature, you need to reward people on there who gift memberships. That's what I think so anyway. And also, you need to be able to, instead of it just going at the end of the stream, it should calculate across the course of the month. And at the end of the month, we'll be able to see who's the most engaged United People's TV community member and then give them a prize. That's what I would like to do. That's why I wanted to create the loyalty point system. I wanted to do all this manually, and it really was quite hard. So it's quite exciting that YouTube have brought it in, but it needs to be better than this. I'll try and get in touch, see if we can make it better. Probably won't do anything. Rex is saying, does anyone know if Brentford have extended Mbeumo's contract? He only has a year left. Why are they asking for more than 55? Because Mbeumo has the same thing, the 1 year option. So he's got 1 year left, but they had the option to extend. So technically he's got 2 years left. So they're totally fine. What are we saying down here? And you're saying if you click on the XP crown, I think you can send a super chat through it. Oh, I know. We're going to have to keep looking at how it works. I do think it's a good thing that it's there, but I think it has to be a little bit better for us. Now, this was Fabrizio after, right? Speaking about Mbeumo, saying United have submitted that offer, 45 plus 10. Negotiation started. Brentford have asked for a fee close to what United pay for Cunha, and they started their negotiation position at 70 mil, which is optimistic. And actually, big up to Adam, my mate. He's a Brentford fan. I messaged him a few days ago. I was like, mate, come on, just let us have Mbeumo. He goes, we can have him for 70 mil. So he got it absolutely bob on, exactly what Brentford have asked for, but they're not going to get 70 mil. Are you going to look? I suppose no one's going to be offended how much money we pay for any players, right? It's just that as modern football fans and the position of United, we have to be, I suppose, consciously aware of how much we can spend and how much we can't spend, and PSR. And as I said, I'll run through it later, but United's PSR position is a hell of a lot healthier than has ever been reported, because it's always been reported wrong. And it's to do with corporate structure and accounting, which is boring, but that's how United are doing it. 70 is stupid, says Francis and Adebayo. I think it's just for a player who scored 20 goals in the Premier League last season, got 7 assists. I think they just want premium maximum dollar or sterling for, which I kind of understand. They're not going to get it. This is what Fabrizio was saying about it as well. A little bit more info.
Brentford are not accepting this money. They were starting from £70 million. Then in the first conversations they had with Man United and those close to Bryan Mbeumo, they clearly said that they would accept something similar to what Manchester United paid for Matheus Cunha. So let's see.
So that's it, really. I think it's, and again, we talk about how United are acting differently this summer. It was only a few days ago where the Ornstein bomber came out that Mbeumo wants to join United. And United probably would have waited for like a week or two, I don't know, even longer than that, to even put an initial bid in. Like, things are moving. Like, United have a plan and United are able to execute decisions. And I think that's been a big thing that's held us back before, is the decision-making funnel at the football club. Even if we wanted to go in with a bid, you had to ask Joel Glazer, and you had to wait for him to get out of bed. You had to wait for him to, and they're known as being indecisive. And it's just like, there's not even too many cooks spoil the broth. It's just like a shit cook who can't make a decision is in charge of actually making decisions. And that's what United were previously. So things are changing, right? Let me see what you're saying down here in the comments. Rio saying, finally have a day off tomorrow. Big up to you staying up to watch it live. Send Sancho there to sweeten the deal. I'd say that's more of a bitter pill to swallow for Brentford if they get Sancho rather than a sweetener. I can have Sancho if they want, though. Watch him go there and, he won't be great. If Sancho's not going to do it he's a Chelsea fan, isn't he? If Sancho's not going to do it and take a pay cut to make it work at Chelsea, then why would it work at Brentford? Why would it work at Brentford? Aaron, good morning to you, dude. So I don't get to catch the live show much, but I watch every day. Best United channel on YouTube. Thank you very much, dude. I appreciate you getting involved. I appreciate the super chat. And I appreciate everyone. I appreciate y'all. And can I say, I don't do this enough. Please do drop a like on the video. It makes I can't tell you the amount of difference it makes to the channel and the growth of it. Reaching new audiences. Well, reaching new United fans. Get them Sancho on loan, someone says down there. Nicholas, you bid 55 with 6 mil add-ons. My guess is that this will get set. United will agree a deal probably around about the 60 million mark. And given, and this is why I think it's good, given that we've gone in with 55 on the original, it shouldn't be too hard for United to get this deal done. And maybe we get a here we go sooner than we thought. Everyone's predictions in the comments, right? Fire in the chat. When do you think we get a here we go on Mbeumo? Because we've opened with such a strong offer, I can't imagine the negotiations need to last too long. Martin, I'm going to be ringing the post office today, see if the PO box is set up. And once the PO box is set up, I'll pin the address in the chat, and then everybody can send stuff in. I've got the pins already. I was thinking about gluing stuff up there, and it might damage it. So I'm just going to use like little red pins. I've got some stuff up there as well. I'll put some stuff up too. What are we saying down here? Someone's saying, dill-a-dip, by Monday, by Tuesday, today. Yeah, good luck. You're a bit optimistic. Tomorrow, someone's saying down there, the weekend. Here we go before the Club World Cup. Club World Cup starts, is it 11th of June? I don't know. I reckon you could get it this week. You could get it this week. It'll be interesting to see, again, to follow this and see how long it takes United to go back in with a second offer. And I reckon that second offer is going to be pretty much what Brentford want. I think we agree on 60, and I think Mbeumo becomes a second signing for United this summer. I think, right, what do you feel as a United fan? The only report we've seen on a budget of United, and I keep saying I think, but Mike Keegan is the only person or journalist I've seen say, oh, United have got, and he said 125 mil. I haven't seen anything from Laurie Whitwell, Andy Mitten, James Ducker, David Ornstein about United's actual budget because no one actually knows. Because it's kind of guesswork because it very much depends on sales. Do you think United will shift focus and attention to sales after Mbeumo? Or do you think they'll do both at the same time? I like to think that United will be able to do both at the same time. But after Mbeumo, if he's going to be, let's call it 60 mil, I think it'll be there or thereabouts. And Cunha, we know, is 62.5. I know it's amortized, but we can only deal with the top level numbers. It feels like United are going to have to do some sales, man. I really do like to think that United can do both. I like to think that United can go after, right? And I did my video on it yesterday. And look, I don't think that we're going to be able to afford Wharton or afford Baleba. But I'd like to think that United will be able to go after a midfielder and won't just have to sit there and wait for something to happen with Rashford or Sancho or Anthony or Garnacho. I think both should be able to happen at the same time because United can agree deals, but money doesn't leave the account, right? I think both should happen at the same time. And Robbie's saying you can't really shift to sales until bids come in. I think United are going to have to do some active selling. I think if United sat there and waited for people to knock on the door, I think we might struggle this summer. And I agree with you that we've got a. It's not the fact that we've got a big enough team. It feels like we've got a team, a behind the scenes team that's actually connected, and I'll speak about that now. Takeoff, you sent a super chat. What do you say, sir? Have a feeling that Gyökeres will be the next signing after Mbeumo. It's too obvious that he's waiting for us. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do an opinion video on that tomorrow. I did a video before the Europa League final, and I was like, the only way that United are going to be able to sign Gyökeres is if we get the Champions League. And I might have been wrong on that. I'll be honest. You'll be honest with me. None of us expected by the 5th of June for us to... Cunha was a signing that we felt that we could do, but the Mbeumo one caught us off guard. Surprised us in a good way. And having those two signings, it makes the Gyökeres conversation a lot easier. But I think I've already said it in yesterday's video. I don't think. I know I said it in yesterday's video. I would prioritise a midfielder ahead of a striker next. We've already signed, well, by the time Mbeumo comes in, we would have signed 2 players with 35 Premier League goals between them last season. We brought goals in. We need a midfielder. We do. And back towards and what everyone was speaking about down there, this is important, right? This was actually going to be I was always going to do 2 videos today after I saw this news because I felt that it's appropriate to cover, but I might just cover this in the lunchtime video and leave the evening video for a PSR conversation. But I've been saying for a while now that Dave Brailsford needs to step back at United. And we've got confirmation yesterday from Laurie Whitwell that that's exactly what's happened. Let's run through the article and let's have a quick conversation. Dave Brailsford is relinquishing his day-to-day role at United and returning to act as Director of Sport for Ineos in a major recalibration of the Old Trafford executive. And the move coincides with Jason Wilcox being named United's Director of Football. And let's speak about both of these individually, right? Number 1, Dave Brailsford. I've been saying for a while, as I said, that he needs to step back. Now, that's not to say that Brailsford's been awful for United. Brailsford was effectively brought in when we had absolutely zero structure whatsoever. And now that the structure, and this should give you a bit of confidence. The fact that Brailsford is stepping back means United feel confident that they've actually got the right people in place. And Jason Wilcox, we were asking, the biggest mistake that Dave Brailsford made without a shadow of a doubt was Dan Ashworth. He was the one who led on that charge, but also he brought in Omar Barada, brought in Jason Wilcox, led on the sort of Carrington redevelopment project. I think Brailsford's done some good in setting the foundations, but I'm glad that he's stepping away. Let the football experts that you brought in do the job. And if you want to take some confidence from that as a United fan, the fact that Brailsford is stepping away, the fact that Jean-Claude Blanc already stepped away as well, Ineos are sort of removing themselves from it. And I want Jim Ratcliffe to do the same. And if I'm going to say one... look, there's loads of bugbears that you can get with Ratcliffe. I understand that. But if I'm going to say the one that pisses me off the most is how involved he is. It's like he's meddling in decisions. Like that article that came out last week about him walking in and having conversations with the monsieur, like the massage masseurs, and telling them, oh, actually, I've done London Marathon. And these are the stretches that I did before. I'm like, you, come on, man. You're kidding me. But I think this is good news for United. Brailsford came in to establish the structure. And while there were problems, and let's be honest, Ineos made a lot of mistakes in that first 12 months. They made mistakes in the first 12 months at Nice as well. They made mistakes at United. And mistakes I don't think they needed to make if they, well, you could call it captain hindsight, but Dan Ashworth was never going to work in the structure that they were creating. And Wilcox he's impressed since he came in. Well, Martin, you mentioned it down there about United moving for Aiden Heaven. That was a Wilcox-led decision. United have got now a director of football who's experienced. That was his position at Southampton. He's come through the ranks at City. And at United, he's earned a lot of credit to the point where he is now our director of football. We didn't replace Ashworth. Well, we did, but we did it from within. I'll be interested to see if United brings somebody else now in underneath Wilcox. We've got Wilcox as the director of football now. We've got Omar Barada as CEO. And you've got Chris Vavell as director of transfers. Well, director of recruitment? I think that's his actual job title. And what we're seeing so far this summer is United actually operating very, very differently to how we have operated in Windows for a long-ass time. Right? For a long-ass time. Not only the Cunha deal, getting that done and early, but going aggressively after another big target, and both of them Premier League proven players. It's an obvious and clear strategy. It's a shift from United. And I think it's going to pay off. But yeah, I think this is a good bit of news for United. I don't think you can just say, oh, thank God Brailsford's gone. Like, he did nothing good for our football club. I think he did. But I think his work is done. So the fact that he's stepping away is good. And I hope we hear a bit more about Ratcliffe stepping away too. Yeah, Wilcox is the top dog. France is saying, should we get a director of sales? I don't know. Well, technically a director of recruitment is exactly that. Bring Everin to liven it up. But Manas, you're saying, look, Ineos is doing a great job. Like, hold your horses. But this is something I said a couple of days ago, and I stand by this. As fans, we're looking at United, and it's kind of hard to see positives from what we saw last season. But clearly, behind the scenes, whether you're talking about Cunha being convinced to join, whether you're talking about Mbeumo being convinced to join, behind the scenes, there is a connected vision which is working. We might not see the benefits of it just yet, and maybe we're seeing it in real time in the summer, but behind the scenes, I think United are more functional than they are on the pitch. That's what it looks like. The big measure of all of this, though, is going to be sales. Can Wilcox and Vivell and, well, Brad, I suppose, won't be too involved in this. Can we sell Garnacho for a good price? Can we sell Rashford for a good price? Anthony, Sancho, Shaw, Casemiro, Onana, Bayindir. Can they find clubs to sell these players to? That's going to be the biggest test of Ineos this summer. But as far as signings go, I think it's been a pretty positive start. Let me see what you're saying down here in the comments. Do we have a loan manager? I think we were going to get, was it Appleton from Charlton? I can't remember that. I wish that we were better at loans, man, overall. Obviously, the Ahmad loan at Sunderland was a good one. What's his face? Tuan Zebe when he went to Villa when they were in the Championship as well. That was a really good one. A solid, consistently good loans would be amazing for our academy. Jonathan saying it was never going to be a smooth transition last summer. Last summer was better than summers that have come before it. And this summer should be, it needs to be, and it started very well, but it needs to be the best summer that we've had since, needs to be the best summer since we signed Hargreaves, Nani, and Anderson. I think it was 2008, wasn't it? I think we signed them all in 2008. That was a wicked summer for the football club. Dean, you're saying goalkeeper must be next, in my opinion. No good scoring loads of goals if you have a hit-and-miss keeper. You hope we get our Martinez. I mean, look, if you're talking about hit-and-miss goalkeepers, like, surely Emi Martinez is in the same category as Onana. I know he's a better goalkeeper, but he's not going to be that absolutely secure goalkeeper that some United fans want. He would definitely have a few wibbly-wobbly moments, but he's a very good goalkeeper. And an absolute shithouse as well. Got to appreciate that. Alan, thank you very much for the super chat, dude. You're saying it's going to be interesting to see how the clubs in the Club World Cup do. I think it will be like after the World Cup a few years ago with tiredness and injuries. I'll be totally honest, Alan. I do not care about that competition. It's frustrating that United aren't in it because we could earn a lot of money from that. A lot of money from that. Yeah, but it is what it is. We're crap, so we're not in it. And you're saying try and bring in Dougie Freedman? Well, isn't he just moved to... Is he in like the second division in Saudi Arabia? I can't remember where he went. It was a big surprise when he left. But if you brought in Dougie Freedman, that would absolutely clash with Chris Vivell. And I get a sneaking suspicion. I remember saying this at the time, that Chris Vivell ultimately will move up to be... You know, when you got Red Bull and you got the Red Bull Group. I think United eventually, under Ineos, with this multi-club model, will probably have somebody who's like head of global talent for the whole group. And I think that could be Chris Vivell in the future. It's something I've thought for a while. What else are you saying down here? I can see Ben Jacobs speaking about Gyökeres and stuff like that. We'll leave it all for now. Gyökeres, I think, is a genuine possibility. But I'll wait for someone else to come out on that. This is a conversation we need to have. Now, bear with me on this one, because we're going to speak about numbers. We're going to look at some org charts, and you might be like, Sam, mate, I didn't tune in to have a bloody lesson. It's a good one, right? And it's important to understand this. When it comes to United's finances, this is probably a big reason why the takeover took so damn long. Because the corporate structure of our football club is complicated. It's convoluted. And it's done like that so that money can be put in certain areas and then not in other. It's just like corporate accounting minefield, right? One thing which you all understand is, had Jim Ratcliffe's cash not been brought into United, I think we would definitely have breached PSR. Because effectively, there's two rules when it comes to PSR. Without any owner injection of cash, your maximum loss can be 15, but with an injection of ownership cash, it goes up to 105. So him putting his money in gave United more headroom. And this is what I mean when it comes to corporate structure. Because you'll be asking, like, what the hell is Red Football Limited? Confusing, right? This is a chart that's from the official United finance page. And it just kind of shows you where all the different levels come in. You've got Manchester United down here, right? Manchester United PLC, that's the one that's in the Cayman Islands. Above them, you've got Red Football, and they're the ones on the stock exchange. And then below them, you've got Red Football Holdings Limited. Below them, Red Football Shareholder Limited. Below them, Red Football Joint Venture Limited. And then you've got Red Football Limited. Now, this is the interesting news that came out this morning, and only this morning. And this is a big, big change. I'm going to highlight these two things here, right? Up until this point, everything that's been reported on PSR, how much can United spend, how much do they need to sell, etc., it's all been based on the accounts of Manchester United PLC. Turns out they're the wrong accounts. It turns out the accounts that are being used by the Premier League are Red Football Limited. And that's the news that broke this morning in this article. When The Athletic, as always, The Athletic leading when it comes to stuff like this. I'll drop the link down here because there's so much more information in this that I won't be able to get across to you. All right, so I encourage you to read that. Let me run through here. Let me go down and see someone sent a super chat and I'll read the chat out. Dad of CZ saying, Sam, regarding our budget, with Cunha being paid over 3 years at 21 mil a time, does this mean that it's only 21 mil off this season's budget? Fed up of people talking like they know. That's exactly what it is. If United were to have £100 million, just make the numbers easy. If United were to have £100 million as a budget this summer, and we sign Cunha, and right now we're paying it in, I think we're paying it in 3 installments. So the installment this summer is 20 million. Then that leaves 80 in terms of what you've got wiggle room, right? Yeah, look, Kenny, you're saying it's informative. I had no idea. I'll be honest. The thing that I'm confused about is The Athletic have written that only companies registered in the UK can be used as part of the PSR calculations. And Manchester United are registered in the Cayman Islands, so that it could never have got used. I don't know. This is exactly why you've rarely seen anybody properly try to step out and explain United's finances. It's why I've stood 6 feet back, because it's very, very difficult to explain. Let me run through some numbers now which have come to light. This I thought was an important one. Okay, talking about what the differences are in the accounts between Red Football Limited and Manchester United as a PLC. This one here. So with the whole Glazer-Ratcliffe sale, you remember the exceptional items that were put on the club? The cost of, what were they called? What was the name of the company that they employed to sell the club? Rain? I think it was a Rain Group. There was some mad costs all associated with the actual takeover process. 47 million of it. It turns out that those costs didn't go against United on PSR. Those costs weren't passed down to Red Football Limited. Those costs stayed up here at Manchester United PLC. So immediately, our PSR position was actually £43 million better off than anybody had been reporting it. It's mad all this is coming to light now. But this is the big one, right? This is the big one. Because everybody had been doing it on the wrong accounts. And look, the Premier League's PSR test will be based upon the financial years of June 2023, 24 and 25. And after 2 lots of full year accounts up until June 2024, Red Football Limited's combined pre-tax losses was £55 million. Well below the £105 million limit. And here's the kicker. the estimate by The Athletic actually suggests that United could lose, hypothetically, could lose £141 million in the next year and still remain PSR compliant. Now, that's big news. That's massive news, because this whole time we thought that we've been sitting there close to the line. Now, a question I would ask here is, when it comes to all these redundancies, when it comes to the staff, are they in Manchester United as a PLC, or are they in Red Football Limited? I don't know. Alex, you're asking down there about the accounts being reported at New York Stock Exchange are less important. This is one, you've got a set of accounts going up here, a set of accounts going there, a set of accounts here. It's mad. It's mad. And please, ladies and gents, like, don't try and like fully correct me in the chat, because look, this is I'm trying to speak about something extremely complicated here that I don't have a full grasp of. But to make it simple, let's just look at this. The clubs at the bottom are the clubs who are most in danger of breaching PSR in the coming season. And I tell you what, United have got to go after Villa. United have to go after Villa. They have spent big on wages compared to their turnover. United can try and take advantage. I spoke about Amadou Onana yesterday. You could speak about Emi Martinez if you wanted to. I don't really know. But United, in terms of PSR wiggle room, are actually the 5th healthiest club in the world. The fact that Chelsea are top of that makes me laugh so much. Man, their accountants are insane. I swear Al Capone didn't have as good accountants as bloody Chelsea do, man. He would never go in jail if he had Chelsea's bloody accountants. My word. That's them like selling the women's team to themselves, selling hotels to themselves, all this nuts stuff. Anyway, United can actually spend money. Now, the biggest issue for United is actually this, which I've been saying for quite a lot of people have been saying for a while. The issue for United is not PSR, which I didn't realise that it wasn't to that extent, but this is the issue. It's cash. United have the ability to spend big, but we don't have the cash to spend. That's the crunch point. That's the crunch point for United this summer. We've actually got the wiggle room and the headroom to go, right, okay, we can actually spend more than people probably think we can. But we're maxed out on our credit cards. We already owe 300 million to other clubs. We had to pay 89 million to other clubs this summer because old debt's being called in, all the Klarna payments. This is king for United this summer. So when it comes to United doing sales, it's not just about getting 40 mil for Rashford. It's about getting 40 mil for Rashford and agreeing it to be paid in 2 installments rather than 4. It's about agreeing to sell Garnacho for 50 million and he gets paid in 3 installments rather than 5. United need to do whatever they can to get cash into the club this summer. Because from a PSR perspective, we're fine. Like, that's what I've just learned today. PSR problems, don't worry about them. United's accounting structure actually means it's totally fine. But the problem is that I think we've only got about 65 mil in cash this summer. And you're talking about the 200 mil that Ratcliffe's put in. We don't know exactly where that's gone, but I believe, and we'll find out, we'll have confirmation on this tomorrow. United's latest financials for the last quarter, they get released tomorrow. And we'll see what United's cash balance is. So we'll know how much cash we've actually got going into this summer. And we'll know whether that 200 million, how much of that 200 million is actually getting put into like liquidity, as someone's calling it down there. Money you can actually spend. This is just something that United have previously, like, I don't know how many years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago, like cash was never a problem. But post-COVID, the cash just got obliterated. This is what United are really trying to do. And probably that's a big part of why the redundancies have happened. It's all geared towards making United, A, more efficient. We know that. the sort of petrochemicals talk, but actually making the bottom line less so you can have more cash to reinvest. Don't come at me with like convertible bonds and shares and all this. I'm not going to have a financial conversation with you down here because it's going to be impossible to have that whilst flying through the chat. The top line here, United's PSR position is nowhere near as bad as it's been reported anywhere. And United have known this the whole time behind the scenes. So that's why United have sort of stayed calm about it. I'm confused. I'm really confused as to how this is only coming to light now. Why is it that the people are only just talking about this now? Steve, it seems like a massive... It's not an accounting error. It's a reporting error. Everything that we've been told so far has actually been incorrect in terms of United's financial ability. And it's going to piss people off. Villa fans are going to be fuming. Don't care. I'd take Ollie Watkins, by the way. I would take Ollie Watkins. For a nice Lolo price. Manthan, thank you for gifting 5 memberships down there. Everybody get involved in the chat. Last few minutes of the show, as always, I'll answer as many of your comments as possible. Quick roundup. The first bid's gone in for Mbeumo. I imagine this is going to get rejected, and I imagine United will probably go in nice and quick with a second bid, right? I like to think that United can go after Gyökeres. And I really do hope that United, from this point, can deal with signings and sales at the same time. Chidi saying that's an issue with the lawyer. I know. Someone down there. Yeah, Ibuka. My God. If there's one player... Okay, put it in the chat, right? Villa's position is awful. We know that. If there's one player that you could sign from Aston Villa, who are you signing? Sorry, Villa, we're coming for you. You shouldn't have spent so much. Look, Villa have put themselves in an incredible position over the last few years, but their revenues haven't grown at the same time as their spending has grown, so they've reached a saturation point. Unfortunately for them, that saturation point looks like this summer. It's easy for me, who I choose. A few of you saying Onana down there. Quite a lot of you saying Onana. A few of you saying Watkins, but I can't. I had him down as my dream signing going into this summer, and I've got to stand by it. Easily, I'd take Morgan Rogers ahead of anybody. And I think that might be a stupid thing to say because we've just signed Cunha and we're about to sign Mbeumo, and technically all three of them play in the same position. But I can't. Morgan Rogers, imagine him as a... probably... Well, he is better towards the opposition goal, but it's easy for me. Has to be Rogers if we're going to sign anybody from it. I don't think they'll sell him, by the way. But given that they've got that position now, and you know that Villa are weak, and this is what the finances and accounts do, right? They give clubs power in negotiations. United know now what Villa need to do in the next couple of years, and they're going to have to sell. That's why they sold John Duran. That's why they're going to sell big this summer. Martinez is leaving. I'm guessing they'll make another big sale. Don't quite know. Hey, look. I also last summer said that Amadou Onana would be a class signing for United. I don't really think that's changed. I still think he'd be a class signing for United. How much did Villa sign him for? Villa signed... Was it 50 mil? I think it was 50 mil. Huh? There you go. Sometimes my memory serves me well. Not all the time, I'll be totally honest. Okay, next question before we finish. If United do go after Onana this summer, and it's a possibility, I genuinely think the profile of Onana in terms of what we're looking for, I can see it ticking a lot of boxes. And if Villa's position is that weak, then United might be able to take advantage. How much do you think United would go in for Onana? Bearing in mind he cost them 50 mil last summer. I think United would go under 50. Tielemans, we're coming back talking about Tielemans and Boubacar Kamara as well. He was available on a free transfer. We didn't go after him. That's 2 free transfers that United ballsed up on. Marcus Thuram and Boubacar Kamara. I think so anyway. Someone down here saying 50. Quite a few of you saying 50. I don't think... Yeah, he had some injury issues towards the start of the season. So he hasn't had the perfect season. 60 million minimum? 60 mil? I suppose he has just signed a contract. There's no way I'll be going over 50, though. I'll be going at 40. And I agree with you. Come on. Doesn't happen too often. No, I'm joking. I'll go for 40 mil. See what happens. But it will be interesting to see what midfielders United go after. Either way, United are not pissing about this summer. We really are not. Let me make sure I haven't missed any super chats down here before I wrap up the show today. United just posted a save the date, 12th of the 6th. Yeah, I did see that. I don't really care that much. Where is it? It's obviously the new kit, isn't it? Where is it? Let's do a little promo video. There it is. 12th of June, people. I know. Contain your excitement. United are bringing out a new kit. That's it. Where is it? Little sneaky peep. Oh! So excited. We've seen a sleeve. Contain your excitement, people. There is the new United kit. Although I like teasers that are teasers. It's like when you watch a trailer for a film, and it pisses you off when you watch a trailer and you're like, well, there's no point in me watching the film now because I've just seen everything that happens. It's always annoying me. So when it comes to teasers and trailers, they should be stuff like this. Just something to pique the interest. Pique the interest. But it's only going to be 234 quid for the new kit, so make sure you buy 4 of them. Not. Look, thank you all for tuning in today. Can I say one more time, please do like the video if you've enjoyed it. And if you are new, and there's going to be plenty of new faces here, please do subscribe to United People's TV. I'm going to be here all summer. You can see the setup now. I'm walking in here every day going, yeah, man. Yeah, man. Looks awesome. Sometimes you're allowed to appreciate your own work, right? This is one of those moments. Right. I'll wrap up for today. Lunchtime video is going to be on how United are acting this summer. Evening video is going to be on the PSR explanations with a bit more detail. Yeah, it's going to be a busy day. Double drop. Take it easy, everyone.